We're here at CES 2018 and we've left the show floor and come to the rarefied atmosphere of the Wynn to talk to Stephen Auld about the latest developments in Dolby Vision.
So Dolby Vision, we're really excited, especially at this show, to show the momentum that we're building with Dolby Vision, not just across the growing number of television OEMs that are adopting this solution, but also across multiple price points. So really driving that Dolby Vision experience into mainstream televisions with partners such as TCL, Vizio, Hisense, and Vestel, which we're actually displaying in our booth here. We're also really looking at the content as well, so the content momentum. We want to drive compelling content across multiple different genres so that people can really experience the best possible image on their Dolby Vision capable displays. So working with content creators, studios, broadcasters, gaming, and then making sure that content can get through into the home. So working with our content distribution partners, whether they be OTT streaming partners or UHD Blu-ray, for example.
In terms of the TVs, it seems that the less capable the TV is, the more value that Dolby Vision can add in terms of the picture performance. Would that be a fair statement?
I think, with Dolby Vision, we have a very sort of rich set of dynamic metadata that's sent with the signal, and what that does is it helps to steer the display management engine that's incorporated into the display to ensure that that content is displayed as optimally as possible based on the characteristics of the display. So when we start looking at more mainstream products, that metadata coupled with the Dolby Vision display management technology really ensures that that is going to be rendered as best as it possibly can based on the capability. So yeah, certainly sending Dolby Vision and including that into mainstream devices, really does enable a great quality, high dynamic range image.
We've seen Dolby Vision at the cinema, also on Ultra HD Blu-ray and on streaming services. What about live broadcasting?
Yeah, live broadcasting, I mean, that's something that's close to my heart in my sort of day-to-day job. And when we look at live production and live distribution of content, it's a very complicated ecosystem. But we work with our broadcast partners both in the professional product category and also the broadcasters themselves and people actually creating that content. We actually, in the summer over in Europe, so in the UK and France and in Spain, we were able to show that Dolby Vision and actually Dolby Atmos can be captured live, and we did some live broadcast trials of French Open tennis, for example, finals, to really show the difference that Dolby Vision can make to, in particular, live sports broadcasting. Capturing that sense of reality and really drawing you into that action, into the drama that's like unfolding either on the court or on the pitch. Yeah.
High dynamic range is a complex area. There are lots of different formats. There is, of course, also hybrid log gamma in terms of HDR broadcasting. Why do you think that Dolby Vision is superior?
So Dolby Vision, it's something that we've been working on for a number of years. We've been looking at high dynamic range for, I guess, over 10 years now. And we designed, Dolby Vision to be a very flexible solution. So it's not just about theatrical or movie content. It's something that's applicable across a wide range of genres. So we've also designed to be very future-proof. So when we look at the evolutions in display technology, there's a lot of capability now in the display. We're not necessarily capturing content in a way today that's leveraging the capability of the displays in the right way. So what we want to make sure is that the capability to really deliver the most compelling high dynamic range image based on the capability of the display is something that's not being compromised too soon. So with Dolby Vision, we're using this PQ EOTF. We have the ability to deliver a very high dynamic range, a brighter, more contrast, much wider color gamut into these displays, which really does lend itself nicely to live sports, for example.
Aside from sports broadcasting, of course, there's also Dolby Vision in terms of movies and episodic TV. There is another version of HDR that uses dynamic metadata, HDR10+. Why would you consider Dolby Vision to be the superior format?
So from our side, with Samsung's HDR10 format, I think there is going to be some incremental improvement, but we see that more as really an incremental improvement over the more generic HDR10 standard. So I think that may improve incremental performance on certain televisions. For Dolby Vision, the way that we look at this, and again very similar to the audio business, is it's a much more end-to-end approach. It's an entire ecosystem approach. So working with the content creators, working with all the tools providers who actually create that content and edit it and master that content, the content distributors, all the tools that are required to faithfully capture that and deliver that content into the home, and then ultimately working across a broad range of OEMs, lots of different types of devices from smartphones to PCs to TVs. How do you make sure that content is going to be faithfully reproduced optimally over all of these devices and different use cases? And that's something that is very much at the core of what we do with Dolby Vision. It's not just a specification or a format, it's an entire end-to-end approach, and I think that's the thing that sets us apart and ensures that you're always going to get that optimum experience and a consistent experience with Dolby Vision, versus what I think is more of an incremental improvement over the more generic standard.
You mentioned consistency. The idea is obviously to deliver consistent performance across multiple displays. Do you need to calibrate a Dolby Vision TV in order to get that consistency?
No, not yourself. So we work with our OEM partners, and it's one of the beauties of working with them very closely. As every television model is developed, they include our Dolby Vision display management technology. We help them with the PQ tuning of the television itself, and we always ensure that we have a calibrated viewing mode. So for the vast majority of users who are going into the store or buying their Dolby Vision enabled display, they know that they're going to get the best possible rendition of that content on the display without having to necessarily go through all the steps of specifically tuning each individual display.
Dolby Vision covers a wide colour gamut and also very high peak brightness, up to 10,000 nits. I know in the past you've been grading at 4,000 nits. Have you begun to grade stuff at 10,000 nits as well?
So we haven't. So at the moment, the grading itself for Dolby Vision, we use our professional kind of grading monitors, which are up to 4,000 nits. But it is important, and it's one of the things that we did when we developed Dolby Vision, is to make it very future-proof. So we have that capability to utilize that same format, the same sort of container, if you like, to deliver these higher peak brightnesses in the future as the display technology evolves. So there's nothing sort of fundamentally that would prevent that, but certainly the technology itself, the underlying technology, is built in such a way that it's ready to be able to leverage the capabilities of both professional and consumer displays as they evolve.
Almost all the studios use Dolby Vision for streaming services, and most of them also use it for Ultra HD Blu-ray, but it seems as though more films are being offered in Dolby Vision via streaming services than on Ultra HD Blu-ray. Is there any particular reason for that?
I don't think so. I mean, every sort of individual studio will have their own, choices, their own priorities and preferences. I think from our side, we make sure that we work with the ecosystem. We make sure that all the providers of tools, the tools that are required to create these packages are available, that they're broadly available to the studios as they create these packages. One thing that we were pleased to show at CES this year is the availability of Dolby Vision in not only Sony but the Panasonic UHD Blu-ray players, and I think that growth in the momentum and availability of the playback devices is something that is also very key in terms of the studio decisions about what kind of format they're going to package their UHD offering. So I'd hope we would see more UHD Blu-ray titles becoming available in Dolby Vision.
And what does the future hold for Dolby Vision?
So Dolby Vision for us, we've got great momentum. We're going to see more of that momentum as we go through, the rest of 2018. This is about showing not just a very high-end experience, but really showing that Dolby Vision is something that can be delivered across mainstream devices. We're going to see, OEMs include Dolby Vision into more mainstream products so that everyone can have access to these, high dynamic range, wide color experiences. Not only that, we're going to see more content and more content genres. So being able to benefit from the capabilities of these playback devices, we'll see more like gaming, broadcast content, episodic content. So it's really about growing the content pipeline, the types of content that you can get the Dolby Vision experience, and also making it more accessible and affordable for people to make these purchase decisions, get products in their homes that are able to leverage the capability of the content that's coming through.
Stephen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.